show tonight to interview our special guest. Show highlight the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. The Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, boxing, tennis, golf, and racing. The Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. The Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. Tune in for all the news and scores, reporting on the games and so much more. The Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. The Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. The Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. The Allen Alford Sports Talk Show.
Welcome, everybody, to another great episode of the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. We are so delighted to have you join us here this wonderful Friday evening. We promise you a great ride, a great time, and that's what you're going to get here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. Definitely the live chat is available. Please feel free to chime in. Let's hear what you got to say. And that's the great thing about this show. No holds barred. That's right. Definitely rest in peace to the Hulk Hogan there. That's one of his movies there. No holds barred there. But yes, we're going to have a wonderful show. We're going to kick things off. And the chat's available. It's open and ready to do what it does. That's right. Appreciate you guys joining us here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. As you know, I'm Alan. And yes, we got a lot to unpack. Football is in the air. Already got the first preseason game out of the way. Definitely let's talk about some Bucks. Let's talk some Bucks. And let's kick some things off a little bit here. Let me go ahead and let me just go ahead and let you guys know the live chat is available. And definitely we are live. We are live here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. So we have game one. Let me just step back a little bit, talk about preseason game one, the Bucks. Okay. Bucks, they actually did look very, very good. Game one, I know it's preseason, but definitely a great start of things to come. And we're going to go ahead and talk about this man right here, Shilo Sanders. There he is, number 28 for the Buccaneers. And let me just say this much, okay? Shilo, he has a very, very good shot being an undrafted free agent of making this Bucks roster. That's right. This is Alan from the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show confirming it. Let me just backtrack a little bit. When it was a week into training camp, that Thursday, I went and got a chance to cover the Bucks for the first time in the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show history, an NFL training camp. First question I asked Coach, that being Coach Todd Bowles, was about Coach Sanders, primetime, coming by and visiting. And then when I wasn't, that was kind of my fault. I wasn't specific enough. I said, what do you think about the fact that Coach Sanders came by to visit you? And I really meant you, meaning the Bucks as a whole, not Coach you specifically. That was my fault. I wasn't specific enough or broad enough. And I think he thought I was saying that He came by to see him. He got a good chuckle. He said, no, he didn't come by to see me. He came by to see Shilo. I was really referring to the Bucs as a whole, coming to organization, coming to training camp. So I'll take that one. But, hey, I got a chuckle out of it. So that's always a great thing. When you ask a question, you get a chuckle out of the question you ask in a positive way. So that being said, what ended up happening is, we got a chuckle out of that one. And then I had question two. Question two, I had asked, how is Shilo Sanders doing in camp? That question, folks, had 19 articles inspired by that second question by my first visit to training camp. 19 articles written from NFL.com, Sports Illustrated, and beyond, quoting the answer to that question I had asked. And I even saw an article just a few days ago. And the nice thing about it is, that's just God, man. It's, you can't ask for anything more than that. But the coach, what was important about that was what he said. He's picking up the scheme. We have a few, I can almost paraphrase it. We have a few tests that come up. One was the night practice before, and a few tests going forward are going to be the games. So far, he's picking up things quickly, and he ended by saying he has a very good shot at making the team. Now, that was at the very beginning of training camp, right before game one. Making an NFL roster as an undrafted free agent is stiff competition. It's not easy to do it. You have, quite frankly, a lot of guys going after very few slots, and there's only so many slots that are left on a team. Speaking of that, August 27th at 5 p.m., is the deadline for teams across the league, the NFL, for them to cut down their roster to a 53-man team roster. Let me just give you a little bit of background information. For those who don't know, I cover the UFL. One of the first interviews I done was a player that was trying to make it, and that player, unfortunately, didn't even make it to the roster. So I covered someone in training camp, per se. They didn't make it till the very end and make the team. That was one of the first interviews I've ever done for the UFL. You have a lot of people, a lot of guys going for the same thing. Now, let's fast forward to the game that happened, game one. What ended up happening was one of his premier competitors is J.J. Roberts. I did some research on him. J.J. Roberts is in the backfield. He plays not only safety, he plays all DB positions. So he's very versatile. And he actually paid him, being J.J. Roberts, a very high premium for him to be an undrafted free agent, $300,000, which is pretty significant and steep for somebody you're paying just to really get a look at what they can do. So he has J.J. Roberts, plus he has others. Now, let me go ahead and evaluate the performance. I thought Shilo Sanders did very good. I gave him 0 to 10, 10 being the best. I personally gave him a 5. My two kids who watch a lot of football, they're rooting for Shilo. They always telling me when a new video is posted for him doing a feud review and everything. Each one of my kids gave him a 4. 4 for my daughter, 4 for my son. I gave him a 5. So I actually, that out of 10. So I actually gave him higher than what my kids did. I love the pressure with the quarterback. That was great. And everything he did was very good. However, in order for you to make this team, you got to make a rainbow in the middle of the night. You got to do a Houdini. You have to make sure it's not close. That's the position I would like Shilo to be at. I want him to make this team where it's not close. Because if you leave it close between you and someone else, it's really just like a flip of a coin. You take this person, one person might think this one's better, that one. Meaning, how do you pull out a rainbow in the middle of the night? You need to do something like your father, like Deion Sanders. You have to make a couple of splash plays. I know that's asking a lot, but where a lot is asked, much is required. Like this. There was a ball that was thrown in the area that the receiver didn't make a play for. If I'm Shilo Sanders, I'm diving to try to intercept that ball. That was one of the first plays I saw where he had a chance to pick off the ball, dive and try to get it. There was another ball that was actually a lot closer that really should have been a pick, but he kind of dropped the pick. He's going to have to make some splash plays, because the reason why I don't think he did that poorly and nothing like that is just that I don't feel as if the other guys, if they were playing a position, they probably would have done the same thing or very similar. So you have to separate yourself from the pack. And I'm not just saying that as like, just, adding on to the list of a tough task. But it's like this. I'm giving myself a personal example. I was, prior to working in media, I was a high performing top seller. There was me and a competitor. I was pretty much a foregone conclusion that I was going to be the number one performer for the entire year, for the entire company. It was a foregone conclusion. We're December. I had the end of the year being number one, and I had it. Just to make sure that there was, and I had about a 250 sale lead against number two, just to make sure there was no closeness, someone thinking about doing something shady to catch up to me or anything like that. No playing games. What I did was, most people would have probably taken the whole month of December off or most of the month off. I didn't do that. I had made sure I sold like as if I was behind till like the middle of the month. Then at that point, the person would have had that sell basically 400 plus sales from the middle of the month on. Not even at the beginning of the month, the middle of the month. Lo and behold, I ended up being number one. But I wanted to make sure the door was shut. That's what Shilo has to do. He has to make sure it's not close. He has to make sure this competition is not close. It's not that he's playing poorly, but you got to do a prime time. You got to do a couple of splash plays. You got to get a pick. You got to get a drop. You got to pull out a rainbow in the middle of the night. That's what I mean. Like, because you don't want to have it close. Because then, people can always say, well, we decided to go with the younger, stronger guy. The other person this, the other person that. So the reason why I'm saying this is I really don't want Shilo Sanders to get too comfortable, being that the coach did say he did pretty good. And he did say to me directly, he has a good shot at making his team. You got to make those splash plays. If a ball's in the area and the receiver's not going for it, I would dive and try to get it. I would run back there and do my best to dive out there and try to pick it, try to get it. And definitely if a ball pops up, get it, because that's what the Bucs really need back there in their DBs. They do a great job of maybe man-to-man coverage. They do a great job of, tackling the guy, so to speak. But what the Bucs are missing is a splash player, somebody to pick the ball off. Deion Sanders in their prime, somebody to go ahead and not just knock down balls, but be a threat to pick it off and take it to the house. That's what the Bucs need, because they do a good job. And even in this first game, you could start seeing it happening where the offense is rolling. They're just doing a little drop pass. They're playing the zone defense, and guys are just back there tackling guys. No one is reading a route and cutting the route off and then picking the ball off and taking it to the house. No one is really even knocking the ball down. They need a disruptor back there. And Shilo needs to be that disruptor, because if it's close, I don't even want to be in that neighborhood of close, because I know how things can be. Granted, Shilo's done a phenomenal job with the fans. He's ingratiated himself with the fans. I've seen almost all of his food critic videos right there at channel side. So much so, no kidding, my son was in the seat We were driving down Tampa. We're going on the other side of town. And my son goes in the passenger seat. Hey, that's the restaurant. And it slips my mind the name of the restaurant. But he goes, that's the restaurant where he ate the crabs at. It's right there. Right? And we were on Hillsborough Avenue. And I was like, I believe it's Crafty Crab, by the way. And yeah, so, and then he's doing a great job with signing with the fans. So I think that part is fantastic. I just think on the field, he cannot make it close. Now, the positives. Positive for Shilo is, I know it's messed up, and I know it's, it's not cool, but J.J. Roberts did have suffered some type of injury on yesterday. They were going to do an MRI today, and they did say, according to report, it's something significant. So if somebody gets injured, if something like that, that does go to Shiloh's advantage. Unfortunately, when you have a lot of people going for the same thing, if somebody has significant injury, this happened. Somebody who's covered, football, I could tell you, I thought corporate America was doggy dog. Making a roster in the NFL is probably even worse, man. It's just, I would just advise Shilo, do what you're doing, but do more. Try to get a splash play or two. I would say get two would be better. The more, the merrier, because you don't want it to be close. Again, my kids, they love Shilo. We're all rooting for Shilo to make team. My kids, son and daughter, gave him a 4. I gave him a 5 out of 10. That is out of 10. I have to say that because, most people usually go a 5 rating scale out of 5. But yes, he's got to do this and more, that and more. And definitely got to pull out something like, ask your dad, how did you get a pick, man? Did you read a twitch motion in his arm or something? Get a head start, go there and just jump the route. Now, I'm not saying do that all the time, but if you feel like you can go get it, go dive and go get it, because you don't want it to be close. And then lo and behold, J.J. Robert did deflect the ball and they did intercept it. So you don't want to make it, you don't want to make a competition close. Slam the door, be undeniable, Shilo. And you have a very good shot of making it. I really do believe, and I want him to make this team. It'd be great. I think it'll be great for the Bucs. It'll be great for Shilo, Dad, everybody. I just think fans, because he's already a fan favorite, keep doing what you're doing, but just do a little bit more and try to get a splash play or two. Get that rainbow in the middle of the night, or Houdini. Either one would work. So big time, man. I know it's not easy, but when much is required, you got to go out there and do it. And I'll just leave it like this. A great man said, if you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip? Don't have no what ifs in life. Go ahead and ball out. That is from the beginning of Lose Control, Eminem. That's Eminem's quote there. So, having said that, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about the Bucs. And this has to go with, man, this Jason, he admitted drafting Devin White isn't his only regret as Bucs GM. So Jason really stirred the pot on this one. I was really surprised he went in, and said this. To kind of make a long story short, he was saying that Devin White was basically balling out, definitely helped us with the Super Bowl. But after he got the Super Bowl, he became, in his own words, quote unquote, a selfish player. And he became not a team player and became more selfish and more selfish. And that started to sever the relationship between Devin White and the Bucs. Again, this is paraphrasing, but you can read this article yourself. And what do I make of those comments? I just look at it like this. You know, you have to keep staying hungry in life, and you have to stay humble. I would say Devin White was balling out, and he's one of the major reasons why the Bucs won a ring with Tom Brady and that team is because the defense as a whole as a unit, but definitely Devin White stepped up. If for anything, he helped the Bucs get a ring. It doesn't seem much afterwards. Things was, there was trouble in paradise after the fact. I look at this as, sometimes when people get that success, they get that chip, they get that ring. Unfortunately, they lose, their head gets big and they lose some motivation. That's not for everybody, but that does unfortunately happen. I've seen it myself. If I allowed that to, even in my profession, prior to being in media, being a top performer in a company, if you go ahead and I was number one year, and if I would have just like chilled out, that could have been the only time. But I was number one again and almost number one a third time. But the reason why it was more important for me to get a second ring was because I didn't want people saying that I got the first one as a fluke. If you just have one fantastic year and you get it, championship, people can always dismiss it and say, well, you had a great year. You had a great year. Every once in a while, somebody has a great year. The way you combat that is you come back with another one. You get another ring and then another one. And then they can't say it was because you had a great year. This is what it is. You have to find ways to motivate you. And then you got to stay humble. You got to stay humble and hungry. Great example, the Philadelphia Eagles. That ring is beautiful. But you know what Jalen Hurts said when he got to training camp? He's already forgotten the fact that he got a ring already because it's a new season now. We're a new year. You can't hold your hat on prior successes. You have to keep going out there and proving yourself. You have to find ways to motivate yourself. Stay humble and hungry. Stay humble and hungry. And I think this and a little bit of maturity, I think, unfortunately, crept in. And this is why Jason Licht thinks the way he does. And it's unfortunate that the relationship severed like this. But you just got to stay humble and hungry. And I could kind of read between the lines of what made this relationship go the way it has. But hey, if anything, I don't think he's as bad as Jason made it sound. You did get a ring, and that was a fantastic ring because it was the Bucs getting the ring. It was Tom Brady got it, and they played here in Tampa Bay, which is all, first time ever that's ever happened. So that was fantastic. And let me just go ahead here. Yes, and people have asked, when will the Allen Alford Sports Talk show be back in camp? That be, the Bucs training camp. That's in God's hands. I would love to come back. And man, I mean, just the list of positives that happened from just coming in one day was just amazing. All glory be to God, but I don't have a timeline when that will happen again. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Someone said you're a nice motivational speaker. Thank you. Appreciate that. Quasar Raza. Thank you so much. Yes. Yeah, so that's awesome. And the thing is, in life, you don't want to make anything, don't make it close. Don't make it close. Be undeniable. And that's what Shilo needs to do. He cannot make this competition close. Can he still get chosen? Of course, but I wouldn't want to be on that. I wouldn't want to be on that, man. I really wouldn't. Just because it can go, it's like flipping this coin right here. It can go heads or tails. Heads or tails. I want that guy over this. I mean, don't make it a close competition. Just don't. So let me see. There was a couple of questions in here. Can Shilo make the leap as an undrafted free agent to secure a spot on a 53-man roster? Absolutely, yes. Yes, indeed. Coach even said it. However, there's much work to be done. And it's not over till it's over. So you got to keep grinding. And let me go ahead and talk and switch gears. Still talking about the NFL. But let me just see here. Let me go ahead and pull this up here for you guys. In fact, let me go ahead and pull up this clip here. Just give me 1 second here. I'm going to try to pull up this clip real quick here of what I'm talking about. And let me see if I can pull this up for you guys pretty quickly. Yes, and if you haven't seen it already, this will be this would be an interesting one to show you, because it's I had it here. I beg your pardon for not having it pulled up here. Okay, let me talk about it first, and then I'll show it to you guys. The question is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow basically was leaving a venue, from what I understand, was about 2:00 in the morning. And then there was a young kid, which I would say wasn't that young. I would say he was maybe 11 years old, give or take. But it wasn't just him. It was kind of like quite a few walking him down the block, and a mob scene, semi-mob scene, guys trying to get the camera, get the selfies in, try to get the autograph. And Joe Burrow was he wasn't mean or rude or anything, but he was pretty much walking, and he gets to his truck and leaves. And he did not sign any autographs, and he really didn't lean in for any selfies or anything like that. And I personally, somebody who's been blessed to have gotten a lot of autographs prior to working in the media, and been blessed that I've seen a lot of athletes, and that scene I've seen countless times. Let me just say that. I've never been one of those autograph seekers that follow people per se to get an autograph, coming out the restaurant, coming out where they might be, airport and stuff like that. But I do know, and can call up some right now that have done that, been there, done that. I had a fine line myself. I would get my autographs right at the field, either you coming in or leaving out or during practice. Guys, that was my thing. I wasn't out there selling things or anything like that. There was guys out there literally making a living. So they would follow, they would go, they would tell me he's going to be here and there. And that was where I drew the line in the sand. I wasn't going out there to follow anybody. And I know plenty of guys that were. They were hungrier than I were. And yeah, some of them were doing it literally for a living, And not only that, I was a fan. So if I got an autograph, I was ecstatic. Guess what? With those group of guys that was getting out their autographs, they wouldn't be happy with one autograph. They had to get 4, 5, 6, 7. They had to have it where, you sign one, like we're, taking one off, taking one on. I mean, and the reason why I say this is because, are you entitled to an autograph? Talking about the kid or anyone. And I'm going to say absolutely positively not. You are not entitled to an autograph. Taking it from somebody who's gotten literally hundreds of them. You're not entitled to one. I would ask please and thank, please, or courtesy. But does that mean I always got it? No. Some guys wouldn't sign. They just wouldn't do it at that time. or whatever their thought process was at that moment. Some did, some didn't. Never have I gotten rude, crass, sarcastic, or anything like that. And I've been around people who have. I'll get into that a bit later. But I'm not entitled, and so isn't a kid or anyone else entitled to an autograph. You're just not entitled to one. If someone wants to bless you with one, that's fantastic, but you're not entitled to one. Joe Burrow has the right to decline not just an autograph, but he has the right to decline pictures. And I understand this is 2:00 in the morning too. And from a safety standpoint, it really wasn't safe for him to be signing out there because it's dark late at night. Now, obviously, it does seem like the kid just wanted an autograph, but you don't know. Unfortunately, as the saying goes, nothing happens good. Nothing happens good that late at night. So you're not entitled to it. You're not entitled. You're just, you ask and you hope that they do it for you. But if they don't give an attitude, don't get upset, and definitely don't post it online. That video should not have been posted online at all. Even though I've seen that video, not Joe Burrow, but I've seen that situation hundreds of times. That same scenario, somebody walk in, paparazzi crowd you, trying to get something signed, one picture. I've seen it. Athletes, celebrities. I'll even tell you a quick little story. I mentioned I was top performer in the company, and Warren Buffett owned the company, right? So I met Warren Buffett quite a few times. I had asked Warren Buffett, can you please introduce me to your best friend? Whose best friend, for those who know, is Bill Gates. And he said he would do it. So lo and behold, I was in the booth where I was stationed to be at. Going around the corner comes Mr. Bill Gates himself. He came right up to me. We talked. We had a nice conversation. And it was really, really cool. And, nice thing. People didn't interrupt. They knew that he came there to see me. And we talked. And then he took a picture with me. And basically, he came there specifically to see me. He took the picture with me, and he was basically, I'll quote his words, guys, gotta go. And basically, people at last minute was trying to get their selfies in when he's walking away, trying to get similar to what you saw with Joe Burrow, but he wasn't really walking. He was in the booth with the company, with other of my coworkers, and he was basically just walking his way on out, and they were trying to do that they can to get that selfie in that picture, which I can understand. I got a nice side-by-side picture with him. But the point is, I've seen that scenario with Joe Burrow that he had countless times. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen it. Sometimes guys just do sign, sometimes they don't. But you're not entitled. You're just not entitled to an autograph. I've never got that way when I was collecting autographs that I'm entitled to something. I'm not entitled. And you talking about I've been in a situation where I've gotten a lot of autographs, and what ended up happening is you're not entitled. You be thankful and grateful if somebody does sign it. And I don't know. They were saying the kid was going to sell stuff on eBay. Maybe or maybe not. But regardless of, and I'll get into that too, as far as people selling stuff. You can get mad if you're an athlete, if somebody sells something and makes a money profit off you. Let me just send this real quick. Just give me 1 second. Okay, let me just see here. And then I'll tell you what this is. And okay, I never got to the point where I felt like I was entitled to an autograph. Never. Because you're not entitled, okay? You're asking, it's just like, I feel the same way when I ask for an interview. I've been blessed that I've done 504 interviews. Thank you to all those celebrities and athletes, fans, supporters of the show to put me in that position, but I'm not entitled to anything. You ask, please, and I ask always courteously and nicely. I never walk up with a camera, my phone, never walk up with something, I never do one of these, never. It's, may I please do an interview with you? I ask the question. I never come up to somebody with a phone, and I do have a phone, but I usually do most of my recordings with a camcorder. I don't usually do it with my phone. I can do it with my phone, but I prefer to do it with the camcorder. That's just personal preference. I just feel like you can see what's going on. I can make sure the sound is coming through. More things can go right. You can do it with the phone, it's fine too, but also your field of depth is much wider too. You have a wider screen, and you can widen out the screen with the camera at the phone. I get all that. I just personal preference rather do it with my camcorder. So I always ask, and you're not entitled. You're just not entitled. You ask and please, and you hope that they will, but you're not entitled to anything. And this kid was not entitled to an autograph, and it was 2:00 in the morning. That's another thing where some guys with autographs have to understand there's a place and time for everything. There's a place and time for everything. I can't fault Joe Burrow for not signing in the middle of the night. Hey, he's the one with, he's got more to lose than everybody out there. So yeah. And another reason why you don't get rude and crass when someone doesn't sign is because you might see that person the next day, which has happened. I've seen athletes who didn't sign at that particular moment in time, but the next day it was like a completely different day, and they were more than willing to sign. And some players, they have routines. Some players won't sign 2 days in a row. If they signed, this is, I guess I'll let you know, guys, a little tip on this. Chipper Jones, outstanding player, ambassador for baseball, outstanding man. He was a fantastic signer. But typically with Chipper Jones, if he signed today, which is Monday, he usually signed a bunch of autographs. Tuesday, if you went there the next day, you probably wouldn't get it Tuesday. That's just how he rolled. He would do it usually Monday and do it every other day. So if you went there Tuesday, you could have been asking all day long. More case than not, he wasn't going to do it. If that was your only day there Tuesday, then yeah, you weren't going to get it. But if you show up the next day, typically he would do it. And not only that, he would typically do the autographs, and he would take pictures, which is really cool. And yeah, so you may not get it today, but you might get it tomorrow. And that's why you shouldn't get sarcastic and rude, because you might get it tomorrow and you might turn a guy off from doing it the next day. One of my good friends, I'm not going to mention their name, but I had to have quite a few talks, and it wasn't a day process. It took a while, but one of their MOs they would go to if they got declined for an autograph, they would get sarcastic and rude. That would be their instant response to quote unquote a rejection. I had to have a lot of talks and say, hey man, you can't do that. You can't. You have to take the high road, because they might do it tomorrow, and they might even do it later in that day. You don't know. But getting rude and crass, that's not going to get it. And fortunately, with a lot of talks, they improved on that, and they end up getting a lot of autographs. But no, you're not entitled to an autograph. You're not entitled to a photograph. You're not entitled, even me in the media, an interview. You're just not entitled. You just ask and you hope and pray that they do it. But if you don't get it, you're a class act. So yes, I agree with Joe Burrow. I have nothing wrong with what he did. And to me, I've seen videos where his receiver didn't do it. Jamar Chase didn't do it. So, and as far as people selling stuff, let me just nip that in the bud. I really don't think personally, I don't think it's a really big deal if, a player might only want to sign one person per item. Case in point is Mariano Rivera. He would normally, if he did do sign autographs, he had a saying, I'll sign one per person, but if somebody gives me two, I'm done. Basically, what he's saying is he'll sign one item per person. If somebody tried to be slick and double dip him, he would end it, and that would be it. He would just walk away and do his thing. He wouldn't sign anymore. So everybody would be left out. And you're praying, and somebody didn't try to double dip. I ain't trying to double dip. And yeah, you go out there and you have a good attitude, positive attitude, and things will fall into place. Let me try to pull up this yes. Let me just see here. Yeah, you're not entitled to an autograph, man. Yeah. Let me see here. Man, this thing was popping up like there was no tomorrow, and then all of a sudden I'm having trouble finding it, but I'll get it. Yeah, you just ask, be cool about it. And as far as people signing and selling stuff, okay. If you sign one item per person and it's the person entitled to do what they want to do with the item, I look at it like that. And if you do sell it, you got to look at it like this. Not everybody is within the same state, the same city, and not everybody can try to get a Joe Burrow autograph. Meaning you might be a big fan of Joe Burrow, but you may not be able to go out there to the practice. You may not be able to go out to the field, but you really want his autograph. Well, the nice thing is the person who does get the autograph, who's selling it, is providing you a service. They are providing you an opportunity to get a Joe Burrow autograph from them, maybe not at a dealership or what have you. So in a way, they are providing a service. And yes, if you are providing a service, you do decide you should get compensated. So if you sign an item and you see somebody going to eBay and selling it, that's the reason why they pay you multi-millions of dollars and the other person is wishing they were you, because you still 100 times winning. They sell that item for $300, $400, $500, which in most cases they cannot, just because even if it is something you have video proof on, it's not in most cases at a quote unquote dealership store. And can you get more money for it than maybe the norm? Sure, it's debatable. But at the end of the day, they are providing a service that somebody else can take advantage of and get it. They can go to eBay or one of your sites and purchase it. And because you did go out there in the heat, the sun, getting autographs, I will tell you, is very time consuming. I'm glad I mentioned that, because not only is it time consuming, is no guarantees. There's no guarantees you're going to get it. And usually the person who's out there more frequently and hustles per se, they usually are the ones who get the most autographs. So you have to put the time in, you have to put the energy in, and yes, your time, you should get compensated. So if you are selling your stuff, you have the right to do that. Now, I would say people who are getting autographs who go over the top, who are hounds, who jump over kids and do all that craziness, no, that's not cool. That's not cool. Okay, I understand that you need to, this is what you do for a living, but there's a certain level of coof and class you have to maintain. Jumping over a kid to get an autograph, leaning on their back, no. You get your item signed, and then sometimes you will have an opportunity to get multiple signed, depending on the person's situation. I wouldn't count on that, but yes, there's a time and a place for everything. But jumping on someone's back to get an autograph is not cool. getting on someone's kid, jumping on a kid is not cool. I've even seen guys stop signing because they seen that. So you just want to make sure that at the end of the day, you're doing things the right way. And yeah, you just get your autograph. You don't have to be belligerent about it. You don't have to jump on someone's back about it. Just get your autograph and call it the day. And at the end of the day, yes. Yep. And okay, I was able to pull up that video. Let me show it to you real quick. Let me go ahead and do that for you guys right now. That's the thing about us. We want to make sure we show you what we're talking about here. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Let me show this to you here. Here we go. Okay, bingo. Here we go. Yeah, so basically they walked him down the block. He didn't sign, and he jumped into his truck. Again, I've seen that countless times. So you're not entitled to an autograph, guys. It is what it is. Whether you're a kid, 2-year-old, adult, I've seen guys blow up on NFL players, even at golf events. They get upset. They get rejected for an interview. They get rejected for an autograph. I've seen it with Patrick Mahomes. I've seen it with, at least nobody went off on him verbally, but I've seen it. Kids, adults, you're not entitled to an autograph. Period. You're not entitled. The only time I would say the exception to the rule for that is if you go to an autograph signing and you pay big time money for someone to sign something at the desk and you don't get it, then yes, you are entitled to an autograph. At that point, if you don't get it, the people who are running the show owe you a refund. That's just how it is. That's would be the exception to rule. If you're at an autograph signing, you pay to get something signed. For whatever reason, that person has to leave for an emergency, what have you. You are, in my opinion, entitled to an autograph. But in that situation, if you don't get it, the people who run it, the promoter, should refund you 100% because you're paying to get an autograph. You're not paying to get blown off, so to speak. In that case, would be the exception to the rule. But outside of that, no, you're not entitled to an autograph. Period. Having said that, we're going to go ahead and switch a little bit of gears and talk a little Major League Baseball. In fact, yes. So Giancarlo Stanton, let me just take a look here. Yep. Okay. Yep. Giancarlo Stanton hit home run number 440. He is 60 away from 500. And man, you know what? it'd be really awesome if Giancarlo Stanton gets number 500, because I tell you for sure, if with me, I don't have a Hall of Fame vote yet, I definitely would vote for him. I know his average is batting average is a little on the low side, but 500 home runs, Giancarlo Stanton, yes, he's a Hall of Famer as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you hit that 500 home run club, you, in my opinion, are a Hall of Famer. Now, you might ask, why are some of the guys who hit 500 or more not in the Hall of Fame? Well, those guys who hit 500 home runs and more and are not in the Hall of Fame is because people question their integrity. They question their integrity. Did you get 500 home runs legitimately? And in those cases, the reason why those guys have not been voted in is because the voters struggle with that. That's why they are not in the Hall of Fame. Giancarlo Stanton is not in that category. Giancarlo Stanton is a masher. That guy hits bombs. If you took his, I'm speaking in existence, he's going to get that 500 home runs. You took his 500 home runs and you took the average distance of those home runs, they're probably at least 420 and better, somewhere in the average of 420 and plus. So he's not just clearing the fence, he's mashing, and he's been doing it for a long time. I'm really praying and hoping he does get the 500. I would think he would need to have at least 2, maybe 3 seasons. Hopefully he doesn't get injured much, but he just continues to have a steady pace and he gets to 60 more. Believe it or not, I think he has a great shot of making it to the Hall of Fame. He was big when it came to the playoffs and the Yankees. His bat, him and Soto were just mashing the heck out of the ball. But yes, if Giancarlo Stanton does indeed get to 500, yes, I do believe, and in my feeling, he's gonna do it. Yes, he's a Hall of Famer. Absolutely. That, I think now we're kind of getting back to that number of 500. If you legitimately hit 500, you get it, because the thing about it is that used to be the cornerstone, and that used to be, until, performance enhancing stuff kind of got in the way of stuff. But that used to be the benchmark. If you had 500 home runs, you did it legitimately, you got it. And let me just take a look here. In fact, I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to show you something. This is going to be real interesting here. And this would be what I'm talking about too. This goes into play as to what I'm referring to. Okay. Let me read it to you because it might be hard for you guys to see it. As soon as you walk into the Hall of Fame, I've been to the Hall of Fame 4 times. One as a fan, first time that I went there, in fact, getting some autographs and stuff. The other 3 times, thankfully to you guys, covering the Hall of Fame 3 years in a row here at the Alford Sports Talk Show. So we covered the Hall of Fame weekend 3 years in a row, and I visited one time as a fan, the very first time. When you walk into the Hall of Fame, I'm not going to spoil it, what statue you're going to see first, but this right here is on the wall. I'll read it to you. Character and Courage. Cast bronzes by Stanley Blefield, 2008. There's 3 statues right to the left of this sign. I'm not going to tell you which statues they are. You need to go to Hall of Fame yourself. It is magnificent. It is absolutely magnificent, the Hall of Fame. But let me read what it says. Becoming a Hall of Famer takes more than just a great baseball career. Off the field challenges and how those challenges are met reveal an inner character that serves men and women throughout their lives. The life experiences of Lou Gehrig, Jackie Robinson, and Roberto Clemente stand out above all. They kind of gave away whose statues are there. Okay. Each faced personal and social obstacles with strength and dignity that set an example of character and courage for all others to follow. Made possible through a generous donation by Robert Crotty. Crotty. Character and courage. One of the things, if you want to make it to the Hall of Fame, is character. That's one of the reasons why the people who vote have an issue with some of the guys that have over 500 home runs. Some who, I'm not mentioning names, but we know who's in that mix because of integrity. Giancarlo Stanton, barring anything of this nature, which I don't see it, the guy mashes and it's indicative of the player he is, the home runs he's hitting. 500 home runs, he gets that Hall of Fame. Simple as that. May my father rest in peace. One of the things he used to say, give credit where credit is due. Give credit where credit is due. What that basically means is whether I love you, loathe you, or whatever, I'm always going to give you credit where credit is due. If you hit 500 plus home runs and you have a question mark on that integrity, the Hall of Fame has made it very clear, the voters specifically, they're not going to vote for you. Whether you hit 500 home runs, got a bunch of strikeouts, they're not going to vote for you. And I can't say I disagree with them. People want to feel like the numbers that you got are legit. They feel if there's a question mark in your integrity, that's one of the reasons why. The character. That's one of the factors they tell you have to look and wait at. And since they gave it away, I'm going to give something away too. So, you know what? This is about all I'm going to give you. This is about all I'm going to give you. You got to go yourself. You got to go to Cooperstown, New York yourself. But I'm going to give it to you. That's what we do here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. There you go. I mean, it gave it away in the answer right there. Yes, when you walk into the Hall of Fame, the first three statues you see to the right of Roberto Clemente, you don't see it in the frame, is that picture, what I just read to you, that character and courage. Character and courage is to the right of Roberto Clemente. But I took a picture of this frame here of the three statues. Roberto Clemente from left to right is right there on the right-hand side. Right in the middle is Jackie Robinson. And to the left is Lou Gehrig. Those are the three statues you see as soon as you walk into the Hall of Fame. That's all I'm giving you. There's tons of exhibits in the Hall of Fame. In fact, I haven't gone to the private room yet. And believe it or not, all 4 times I need to do that the next time. I'll save it for the next time because I'll have something to do. But these are the three men you see. You're talking about character and courage. You want to make it the Hall of Fame. It's not just about the numbers. You got to make sure that your integrity and character is in place because that's one of the factors the voters have to vote on. People think you're doing something shady. More than likely, they're not going to vote positively for you. So, Giancarlo Stanton, keep doing what you're doing. Don't go down that ugly road. Keep mashing the ball on your own cognizance, and you're going to get there. It is a wonderful, wonderful honor to be in the Hall of Fame. It really, truly is. Speaking of that, somebody who is in the Hall of Fame, in fact, let me... Man, this is... This is... one person who is in the Hall of Fame. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. It's right there, Ichiro. Ichiro Suzuki. Congratulations to Ichiro Suzuki because he is getting a statue right there. I said it. Going to get a statue in the Seattle Mariners right there. Well deserved. Well, definitely something that he's deserving of. And I like to see people get what they deserve. So, yeah, he's going to have a statue. I would assume it's going to probably be that statue you see right there of him, with the holding the bat. So, but we'll see. Yeah, so that's awesome, man. Congratulations to Ichiro Suzuki. Fantastic speech. Man, that's just amazing, man. That's really, really first Japanese player to make it and be inducted to the Hall of Fame. The National Baseball Hall of Fame. That's right. Yeah. So there you go. And let me just see here. And I'm going to mention this one other thing. Couple of things, actually, about baseball. Let me go ahead and talk about this event here that I did have Adam Unger go ahead and bless us with. Adam Unger blesses with his presence and be on the show. But guess what? As of Thursday, the tickets went on sale. August 14th, as of yesterday. Make sure you get your tickets because Bernie Williams and Jonathan Tettleman, tenor and opera star, Jonathan Tettleman and Bernie Williams. That is the Bernie Williams from the New York Yankees. Carnegie Hall, January 13th, 2026. Yes, get your tickets, pack the house, make sure you show up because that is outstanding right there. Carnegie Hall, January 13th, 2026. Props to Adam Unger. Props to All-Star Encore. It's going to be fantastic. Who else is going to be there? As I mentioned, Jonathan Tettleman, Big Time Tenor. That's his album there. And Big Time Bernie Williams, Burn Baby Burn. He's going to be there. Right there in Carnegie Hall. But wait, folks, there's more. Stephon Marbury is going to be in the house too. That's right, Stephon Marbury. And guess who else is going to be there? Jose Reyes. That's his album too. For those who didn't know, that's the Mets, Jose Reyes. Going to be in the house as well. All going to be at Carnegie Hall. And guess what? The news was broken about this here on the Allen Alpha Sports Talk Show. He did do an interview before this about this, but I was so honored and thrilled to have Adam Unger from All-Star Encore, who is presenting his business, is presenting everything here and he has the connections with the players, Carnegie Hall. They're running the show, and I'm going to give it a few days. I'm going to reach out to Adam so I can give you guys that discount code. But, man, those tickets, get yourself your ticket, man. This is going to be phenomenal. You can't, you just can't. 13 years in the making. Our All-Star Encore, you can see that the logo at the very top, presents Bernie, guitarist and Yankees great Williams, and Jonathan Tenor and opera star Tettleman. Opera, jazz, Latin, and pop classics. January 13th, 2026, Stern Auditorium, right there in Carnegie Hall. Tickets are available at carnegiehall.org. carnegiehall.org. And tickets went on sale yesterday, August 14th. Go get it. Go get those. Pack the house. Pack the house. Pack the house. Man. I'm going to show you a little clip of our interview, so you guys could get to see that. Let me go ahead and so this is it's spectacular. You guys got to show up, man. Certain things in life you just gotta go out there and see. Let me go ahead. Here we go. Here we go.
That I'm going to have Stefan do is actually go back to his high school in Coney Island, Lincoln High School, and bring some of the teenagers there that have never been to Carnegie Hall over to Carnegie Hall to see this concert. And actually, Steph admitted to me the other week when I was with me, he's like, you know what? I've never been to Carnegie Hall. So, wow. I mean, this is really about opening up access to that. This is really what means a lot to me with this concert. It's very, very important that we open up the arts to everyone, and make it accessible, make it enjoyable, and show the kids like, hey, why not you? Why can't you be on the stage at Carnegie Hall? And like, listen, I'm just a lawyer, from New York, and I've had this idea actually since 2012. I first approached Bernie with this idea in 2012. So for all you people out there that have a dream, this didn't happen overnight. Yes, I'm standing on the shoulders of other people, my dad and everyone that's helped me over the years. Ray Negron, Emer Callejas, Jose's agent, Steve Fortunato, Bernie's agent. But, this is a 12, 13 years of me pursuing this idea and believing in it, and now getting a chance to see it, come to fruition, to be able to share it with people.
That's awesome. You guys need to come out. In fact, so let me in.
Things that I'm going to have.
You guys need to come out and support. Show you one other quick video about it. That's
to do for many, many years, but it's sort of like the ultimate culmination of my athletic career, my music career, and also my sports career. So I had this crazy idea of like, what if we could get a really famous professional athlete that is also a great musician to go on stage and be the collaborative artist with one of the greatest opera singers in the world on like an amazing stage, like the Metropolitan Opera, or in this instance, I'm happy to announce Carnegie Hall, where we have struck a deal where Bernie Williams, the New York Yankee great, and may I also add, really, even before he was a Yankee, great musician, one of the great musicians in the world. I don't think he gets enough, like, people know he plays the guitar, but this guy is literally one of the great guitarists in the world. And he's definitely, for sure, the greatest athlete musician of all time. And Bernie is going to add to his already incredible musical and athletic legacy by becoming the first professional athlete musician to accompany and collaborate with one of the great opera singers in the world today, tenor Jonathan Tettleman, when they both take the stage of Carnegie Hall, Stern Hall and Carnegie Hall, the main hall, on January 13th, 2026.
There it is. Tickets are on sale right now. CarnegieHall.org. CarnegieHall.org. And the date, once again, is January 13th, 2026. Stern Hall, which is the main hall of Carnegie Hall. There you go. The Allen Alford Sports Talk show will be in the house. So I am putting it out there. Got to speak greatness into existence. Shilo Sanders going to make the team too. Yes. So let me just go ahead and we're going to talk some UFL news. New UFL. In fact, UFL, boy. We're going to get into the UFL, and there's a lot to unpack right there. In fact, let me go ahead and do this here. I'm going to take a quick little break. Let you guys go to the restroom if you need to, and we're going to talk UFL. All right, we are back. We're back. That's right. Whoops, UFL news. And let me just take this off here. We are back. We are back. That's right. We're going to talk some UFL news. And a lot to unpack here about that. Yes. So the bomb shell kind of dropped with a report, tweets from the UFL, James Larson. And for those who don't know, I've actually done a lot of media, I would say press conferences with James Larson right there in the press conference. Sometimes it just be Coach, James Larson, and me. And yes, I'm very familiar with James Larson, and he's the one who dropped the bombshell that all what was alleged was going to be 4 USFL teams were going to be moved. Those being, let's see, the Panthers, the Stallions, the Memphis Showboats, and also Houston Roughnecks. Yes, most of the USFL teams. You know, the Panthers, the Stallions, Panther Stallions, the Memphis Showboats, and the Houston Roughnecks. Well, lo and behold, it caused a big stir. People was really flipping out. What ended up happening is definitely Columbus is going to get a team, but it's not for certain which teams are going to be moved, And then basically it was a bit of a jump of a gun to go ahead and put out the news and get it out there. And unfortunately, as much as I like James Larson, he does come across, with all due respect, as kind of like the Temu version of Adam Schefter for the NFL. James Larson does come across, from not just me saying this, a lot of people in the media, as a Temu version of Adam Schefter. Just really quick to go to that Twitter, loves Twitter, to break some news, and even if it's half true, but being first. Here at the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show, we don't try to break news that it's not confirmed. I don't want to add to the rumor mill. I think there's enough drama and enough innuendos already in social media. I don't want to be one to add to that. And on top of it, if it's not factual, I don't want to be bothered with it. Meaning I don't want to be part of the rumor mill. I don't want to be part of the drama mill. I want to have facts. If I have facts and it's confirmed, I don't have a problem sharing it. If it's just hearsay, no. And that also goes into play with the character and courage and integrity. That's one of the major reasons why I don't like to spread rumors. It can affect your integrity if you're spreading stuff that's not accurate. Fortunately, that's what, make a long story short, what happened in this scenario. Okay. What we do know is Columbus is going to get a team. We don't know which teams are going to be moved, if any teams. Now, Mike Rapoli, that's how you pronounce it, Mike Rapoli, did say there's going to be 2 markets that definitely going to move, possibly 4. So it's not totally inaccurate. There will be some teams that will be moving. But we don't know which teams for sure, and it is a fluid situation. Meaning they might have a thought to move a team, but they can go back and change their mind. I will let you know, this league right now, the UFL, is really, what I feel, is at a state where they really need to do something to save the UFL experience, UFL experiment, if you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. I just feel like, let's look at it. They started off with the XFL. They lost millions. First year, the UFL, they lost millions. Second year, they lost millions. Nobody's in business to lose money end over end. This will be, well, year 4, because you have the XFL, UFL 1, UFL 2. This is year 4, actually. I know it's the first year of Mike Rapoli and his contribution, but this will be year 4 of the XFL, UFL ownership, less Mike Rapoli. I feel the league is at a position where they need to start getting more support. What I mean by support, people watching, people showing up to games, more importantly. This year, the second year of the UFL, third year of kind of like the Danny Garcia, Rock, Redbird Capital ownership. This year was, unfortunately, they were backpedaling this year, meaning this year, besides Michigan having a bit of an increase of growth, all the other teams, including the Battlehawks, the viewership was lower and the attendance was lower from the prior year, which means that people are kind of like turning the page or getting used to it. And I did feel covering it, it was pretty much, I would say, kind of dry. The championship game, surprisingly, did not have any real special guests. It was pretty, I was a little surprised. But having said that, I still don't think that the UFO would be in the best suit to move the Stallions and the Panthers. This reason, let me talk about the Panthers first. The Panthers were just in the championship game. If you move them, you're basically telling the fan base, we don't care if your tennis is up. We don't care you made the championship. We need to move this team so we can find somewhere where we can make some money. That just comes over kind of harsh, especially being that the Panthers actually increased their attendance. They were the only team that was up, meaning from the prior year, viewership was up and attendance was up. And I don't think you want to get rid of Stallions because they won 3 championships in a row, a staple in spring football. And yes, they were maybe a little bit in the middle of the pack or maybe a little bit above the middle of the pack, but I just think it's too extreme of a move to just move the Stallions. Maybe look to see if you get a smaller venue there. That's an opportunity you can look into. But I don't think just going with a smaller venue automatically is going to add to more people showing up. And, when they have things like this, the timing be as it may, site-wide summer sale up to 70% off, it lends into the UFL doing a complete rebrand. That's the way it's looking. At least it's coming across that way. I know that it's a sale. Maybe you're just getting some new inventory, but combined with what we do know about them changing 2 to 4 markets, quote on what Mike Rapoli said, it lends to believe that things are changing quite rapidly there. So I think for the sake of the league, I would maybe look at maybe minimizing the moves right now. I just think that the fan base is kind of like they've already picked a side right now, meaning if you move, I'm out. And it's just been chaos from a UFL standpoint, UFL fan standpoint. People are not showing if they should really support the team right now because they might move. It really shook this rumor right here. Really shook as far as the stability of the league. Yes, the league might still be around, but people kind of don't want to get their heart poured into something that they feel is going to be pulled right away from them right away. And it kind of feels that way because of that rumor. Now, the good news is, though, is this. If anything, it did remind people that you have to support this league, the UFL, if you want it to stick around. I see a lot of value in the UFL, but it did bring to light that, hey, if you don't come out and support, there will be changes, and there will be changes quickly. And the team that you're supporting may not be around much longer if you don't go out there and support. At least that's one great thing that came about this, is that you want to make sure that I don't know if I would go so far as taking advantage of the sale, but at least I would make sure, regardless of how it unfolds, that you come out and support the league, because this is a great opportunity for players. I definitely do see a lot of value. I definitely do think it's great football. It has all the ingredients, but what is missing is more support, meaning coming out to watch the game, watching the game on TV, and doing what you can. Buy some merchandise. I mean, maybe if you don't want to get this merchandise here, but buy some when it comes back. Because it ain't no guarantee. I said the way it's trending, I would give it another year or two. And I think they're going to kind of make a decision around that time, year or two, if they're going to pull the plug or not. I just have that feeling like you're around the 4th or 5th year, and you just get losses and you don't see nothing else happening but losses. Nobody's in business to lose money. And that's unfortunately where this league has been trending. Guys got to come out and support. I've been saying it from day one. So I definitely do think things are gonna be shaking up soon, but I will not report anything until I know for a fact of what's going on. Because that's just, I don't want to, I'm not out there for clout chasing. I'm not trying to set the world on fire on Twitter unless I know 100%. Yes. But I do know a few things that happen 100%. The player showcases. Atlanta is up next, September 14th. Kell High School. DC, September 28th. George Mason University. Arlington, October 12th. Choctaw Stadium. San Diego, October 19th. San Diego Specialist Showcase. We have Orlando right here. Well, not right here, but closer to me. October 26th, Celebration High School. I did cover that event 2 years in a row. Let's see. No, I did it for the XFL, the UFL. This will be, yeah. So year 3. Phoenix, November 9th. Tempe High School. Houston, November 23rd. Husky Stadium. Los Angeles, December 7th. Peninsula High School. Register today, showcases.com. I'm sorry, showcases.theufl.com. Showcases.theufl.com. And there is a showcase in Europe, October 5th, there in Zurich, Switzerland. And if you guys are interested in sponsoring the showcase in Zurich, Switzerland, please reach out to me and I'll make sure I get you connected to the right people to make that happen. And they definitely would appreciate your support. So if you want to sponsor Showcase in Europe, which is in Zurich, Switzerland, on October 5th, please let me know as soon as possible, and I'll connect you to the right people to make sure you get full credit for that as well. And stay connected to that at theufl.com. What is coming up next for the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show as far as coverage is, guess what? Aristides Destrade. Aristides Destrade is coming back. And the Honorable Robin Fusion right there at Tampa Bay Baseball Museum. They're having a baseball legend birthday celebration of Al Lopez. And that is Wednesday. This coming up Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Tampa Baseball Museum. Don't miss an opportunity to have an outstanding time, outstanding event. And let me show you this. Please check us on our Facebook page for the link. It is complimentary for you to go. They are asking for donations. There is a link that I put right there on the post. Click on that link to register. They want you to register before you go so they have a good idea of counts. Refreshments will be served. They kind of want you to do that. So make sure right there at Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. Allen Alford Sports Talk Show, Facebook. You can also see it at Instagram at Allen Alford _. And then also, don't forget, you can see the website there too, Allen Alford Sports Talk Show.com. Allen Alford Sports Talk Show.com. Now, I did want to say, let me just take a look here. Make sure you register. Make sure you show up because you'll get an opportunity to go ahead and see this. Aristides Destrade. Aristides Destrade. There he is. Very knowledgeable about baseball. There, the man is right there. Make sure you show up and register. And don't forget to like and subscribe at YouTube while you're there. Yes, so it's going to be fantastic. Yes, come on down right there. Wednesday, August 20th, 6 to 8. And register right there online. Tampa Baseball Museum at Old Lopez home. Yep, honored and blessed that the On-Offer Sports Talk Show will be covering that event on Wednesday. It's going to be fantastic. And what's also going to be fantastic is this here. Make sure you guys really want to go ahead and give major props. Thank you to, let me just take this off here. Thank you to songwriter Sam Scola and his Sam Scola Songs and his wife Mary. You know, nice thing is they provide all the music that you hear on the On-Offer Sports Talk Show. These songs, Sam Scola Songs, are available on YouTube and Spotify. Definitely check them out there. And that is going to be correct. Yeah, the nice thing is, let me pull this up here. And the nice, this, you know, it's going to be fantastic, man. Really appreciate Sam Scola Songs and his wife, Mary. That is phenomenal that they have been so blessed to write these songs here. And let me show you them right there. That's Sam Scola Songs. And his posters right there as well. Again, the Sam Scola Songs are available on YouTube and Spotify. And we're going to even do something even cool. We're going to give you an opportunity to meet and reach out to Sam Scola Songs. That's right. Sing along with Sam at gmail.com. Sing along with Sam at gmail.com. Don't spam him. Give him an outstanding deal. If you need some help with a song, record deal is what we're looking for. That's ideal. Sing along with Sam at gmail.com. Sing along with Sam at gmail.com. Definitely no spam deals. Thank you again, Sam Scola Songs and his wife, Mary. Really appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. They're taking another great vacation, living a life there. That's right. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Sam Scola Songs and his wife, Mary. And nice thing is, again, let me show you that to you. You can reach Alan at the AlanAlfordSportsTalkShow.com. Please like and subscribe on YouTube at Alan Alford if you haven't done so already. And we just take a look here. Facebook, it's at Alan Alford Sports Talk Show. Instagram is Alan Alford, AlanAlford. And Twitter or X, it's at Alan Alford. So those are the social media profiles there. Thank you to all for the chat messages. You guys are fantastic. Really appreciate you guys. You guys are wonderful. You know, thank you so much for watching another great episode of the Alan Alford Sports Talk Show. Definitely you could listen to other shows right there at Alan Alford Sports Talk Show. Thank you again for watching another great episode of the Alan Alford Sports Talk Show. Really hope and pray you guys have a blessed weekend. Be blessed, be well, be kind to each other. Remember, character and courage goes a long way in life. That's right. And thank you guys. Really tremendously appreciate you for your support of the Alan Alford Sports Talk Show. None of these opportunities are possible without you. You guys are wonderful. I tremendously appreciate you all. And stay connected. We'll be back again next Friday. Same bat time, same bat channel, 8:30 p.m. CST, 9:30 p.m. EST. Right here Friday night. Looking forward to seeing you guys again. In the meantime, take care of yourself. Be blessed, be well. I will see you again. Take care. Have a great night. And I will make sure that we look forward to seeing you again. So there we go. Thank you, guys. Be blessed, be well. I'll see you again. Have a good night.
It's the end of the show. shot.